Ludicrous Feed is proudly sponsored by Carloop, Australian EV Data and Ownership Trends, Koba Car Insurance, Pay-Per-Kilometre, Wallbox, EV Charging Solutions, and Evee, hire electric vehicles from real owners. Now the first step is to remove the housing from behind the rearview mirror, and of course the easiest way is to just tilt the rearview mirror back towards the driver's side and down, so you've got maximum access to this. And I'm using this orange pry tool, which you can buy from your hardware store or even Amazon. They're pretty cheap. And this is about 19 centimeters in length. And I'll be using this side here, the single prong, to pull open the housing. Now I found the easiest way to do this is to actually pull down the entire housing with one hand. I can only do this with one hand because I'm holding the camera with the other one. But pull this with one hand, that will give you a bit more room. See that, how the housing moves from behind the windshield there? And then when you've got that pulled down with one hand, then get the pry tool in there and then you can just leverage it up this way. And the whole thing should come undone slowly, clip by clip, and then just same with the driver's side. Okay, so I've enlisted my wife, Joy, to help me with this, so thank you, Joy. So again, like I said, pull the housing down with one hand, and get the pry tool under there in that gap, and then, see that? It just slips open. I'll just show you again. So pull down, and then slip in there. See? No force required, really. And then do the same with the top part. And then you can do the same with the driver's side. And then it literally, just a bit more force here, and then just the whole thing comes undone like that. And then, yeah. And then, like I said earlier, this part here is what you need to undo. This part there to remove this bracket from the rest of the housing. And again, that requires just fine maneuverability and patience. And I showed you the mechanism earlier, and that's how you remove the bracket from this. You don't necessarily need to remove the whole thing. You could, I suppose, work without removing the whole housing. It just doesn't give you as much room to remove that wiring, as I showed you earlier, that blue wiring to plug into the dash cam. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Today we are installing the OEM dash cam for the BYD Seal. And it might sound a bit odd as to why we're installing the OEM dash cam for the BYD Seal and why the car didn't come included with one. And I think that's open to speculation, probably a discussion for a whole separate video. But today I will be taking you step by step on how to install this camera into the housing behind the rearview mirror to get your dash cam working. Now for some reason BYD in Australia and worldwide actually have not included the dash cam inside the housing, whereas it's available for the Atto 3. Okay, so first things first, this is the actual size of the dash cam. It is very small. It fits within the palm of my hand. This particular one was under $100 from AliExpress. I'll leave a link in the video description below, and I got it within 10 days. Now obviously the next thing you need to do is to remove the housing from behind the rearview mirror, and I would have shown you the steps at the start of this video, but I will also, before I install the dash cam, show you the mechanism of the plastic clips of the housing itself. So you'll take note, there are 3 brackets here. So 1, 2, and 3. And that's the same for the driver's side as well. So see that on the driver's side, 1, 2, and 3. So basically symmetrical for both driver and passenger side. Now I've been sitting in the left-hand side of the vehicle, i.e. the passenger side, in my right-hand drive car, because the actual housing for the dash cam is actually on this side, on the passenger side. And so most of my work will be on this side of the car, hence why I'm sitting here. And I'm also wearing a headlamp on my head to make it easier to work in my garage. Sure, you can work outdoors to have more lighting, but I prefer to work inside the garage. And this is something you can get from any hardware store or camping store, and just makes life a lot easier for you. Okay, so the next thing to show you is the mechanism of the housing that's behind the rearview mirror. So it's actually in 2 components. So this is the main large component, and then there's another little bracket like that. So the first step is to remove this whole massive big one, and then the second part is to gently remove this smaller bracket. That way you can remove the whole housing behind the rearview mirror and exposes all the wiring and makes life a lot easier for you to install the dash cam. So I showed you the brackets there, and they correlate to these 3 clips here in the housing itself. So that 1, 2, and 3, I just turn it this way. They're just standard clips you'll find in most modern cars these days. That just snaps in place and keeps the housing locked in to those brackets. And then the smaller piece has got similar clips and brackets into the big housing. So there, and also down here, and it's symmetrical on the other side. And then this slot here is just a slot for this middle plastic piece here. See that middle piece here with my 4 fingers tapping? That just slots into place, and the top and bottom clips, they just snap into the bracket there. And this one you need to gently remove because obviously you don't want to break any of the clips as you remove the housing. Okay, so let's talk about the actual installation of the camera now. So it's pretty straightforward. That is the lens that sits in that hole right there. So that will go through the slot. And then these wings there, the wings will slot into the plastic clips there and also there, again symmetrical. And this long knob will sit inside that hole there. So basically slots into place. So I'm going to do that right now for you in real time. I've not done this before, so slot it in. Okay, so hopefully that was caught on camera because that's not coming out. That will clip, as you can see, hopefully in detail, clips there, clips there. There's a top plastic piece which caught the top part of the camera. So that is now super secure, like I cannot get that out pretty much anymore. That is not coming out till I sell the car, whenever that might be. Now the final piece of the puzzle is this blue hole, which this presumably will slot into. Now at the moment it's sort of wrapped around this cord, and I'll just off camera just take this off and just pry it out with my fingers and then just slot it in. So 1 second. Okay, so this blue plug is actually not as tightly secured as I initially thought. So this black tape, it's actually tape, well, adhesive on the back, and it's just wrapped around the blue plug to keep it secure around this big cord. So you just have to just gently undo the adhesive. So I will do that off camera and then I'll show you what I've done. Okay, so you can see the dangly bit is just the tape that's wrapped around this. I'm probably just going to cut this off because I'm never going to use this cord like that again. It's going to be plugged into the dash cam, so let me just cut this bit of dangly adhesive off. Okay, so I didn't even need to cut it, I just tore it off. Alright, so the fun bit now is to plug this into that hole, so let's do that. It can only go in one direction. There's 2 extra pins there that correlate to these 2 pins down here. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Again, doing this in real time. Correct direction, and we should just plug in. Let's see. Okay, let's plug in. Okay, so yep, there was a soft click, and that again is stuck in there real good. That is not coming out. So I'm happy with that. Dash cam installed. It's connected now to this loop of wire, and now to put the housing back. Okay, so back to the main housing. Just show you again. You've got 2 long pointy bits like that, and they correlate to, so that is one of them. Then on the driver's side, that's the other one. So you want to aim those 2 pointy bits into these 2 holes in these pointy bits of the main housing. Oh, and I just realized there's actually more pointy bits. So there's actually one more plug there and one more hole here. And they correlate up here. There's one there. And then on the driver's side, similarly, there's one there as well. So we'll align those 4 points with the housing. Okay, so the main pinch point with realigning the housing is actually this big silver box, and also this pointy bit on the driver's side. So you'll find that that is actually causing a bit of impingement as I realign this. So I will try and do this gently off camera. And the key is gentle and patience, because this plastic is quite brittle. It's hard and strong, but it can easily snap if you're not careful, so take your time with this. Okay, so I prevailed and the housing is past that pinch point, so now it should be able to just sit like that because that pinch point is now providing stable footing for the rest of this housing. And now the last step is to put this little piece back onto the main housing, and then from there it should be easy enough to just to put the housing back on. Okay, 1, 2, 3, success. Got the little bracket back on. Just required a bit of finger maneuvering. Yeah, hard to show on camera, but just definitely a lot of patience and wiggling and possibly 1 or 2 curse words. Yeah, that's it. So that's the casing now. So there you go. It just sits on the extension to the rearview mirror. And now the last piece of the puzzle is to just literally snap it back into place. So I'll try to do this in real time. Okay, so just align it with the windshield and just check the driver's side too. That looks pretty good to me. I'm happy with that. And just check with my hands down the bottom there, so that's all good. Okay, so here we go. It should just snap back in. Yep, it sure does on this side. And pretty satisfactory. And then this side, yep, same thing. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty secure. That's not coming out without a pry tool again, which I'm going to show you in a second, but I'm pretty happy that has worked. And I'll just show you the dash cam from the other side. Okay, and hey presto, there is the dash cam right there, where the hole used to be. So I'm pretty happy that the installation has gone well from the hardware point of view. I guess now it's time to talk about software. Okay, so that's what it looks like from outside the car, leaning on the windshield. So you've got 2 cameras that I can see now. That's the dash cam I just installed. I think that one is for the ICC, for the camera, to help with lane guidance and so on. Okay, so now I'm going to film this part of the installation. I've done this backwards if you watch the whole video. Now the first step is to remove the housing from behind the rearview mirror. And of course the easiest way is to just tilt the rearview mirror back towards the driver's side and down, so you've got maximum access to this. And I'm using this orange pry tool, which you can buy from your hardware store or even Amazon. They're pretty cheap. And this is about 19 centimeters in length. And I'll be using this side here, the single prong, to pull open the housing. Now I've found the easiest way to do this is to actually pull down the entire housing with one hand. I can only do this with one hand because I'm holding the camera with the other one. But pull this with one hand, that will give you a bit more room. See that, how the housing moves from behind the windshield there? And then when you've got that pulled down with one hand, then get the pry tool in there and then you can just leverage it up this way. And the whole thing should come undone slowly, clip by clip, and then just same with the driver's side. Okay, so I've enlisted my wife, Joy, to help me with this, so thank you, Joy. So again, like I said, pull the housing down with one hand, and get the pry tool under there in that gap, and then, see that? It just slips open. I'll just show you again. So pull down, and then slip in there. See? No force required, really. And then do the same with the top part, and then you can do the same with the driver's side, and then it literally, just a bit more force here, and then just the whole thing comes undone like that. And then, yeah. And then, like I said earlier, this part here is what you need to undo. This part there to remove this bracket from the rest of the housing. And again, that requires just fine maneuverability and patience. And I showed you the mechanism earlier, and that's how you remove the bracket from this. You don't necessarily need to remove the whole thing. You could, I suppose, work without removing the whole housing. It just doesn't give you as much room to remove that wiring, as I showed you earlier, that blue wiring to plug into the dash cam. Okay, so dash cam successfully installed, and one more thing you need to do before you start playing with the app is that you need to install an SD card in this slot down here. My finger is pointing. So what I've got in there currently, I'll just show you. Just take it out. So this is an old SD card I used to use with my Tesla Model 3 Sentry Mode. I got this from Joe, one of the Tesla accessories companies. 256 gigabytes. I formatted it as exFAT on my Mac, which I believe is FAT32 for Windows or Android users. And then, yeah, it just sits in there like any sort of SD card reader. Just push it in with your fingernail. Yep, and that sits in there flush, and we're good to go. Okay, so the BYD infotainment system does not actually have the Dash Cam app installed as it is when it's delivered because there's no Dash Cam. But I've heard that when you reset the car with the Dash Cam installed, it loads up the app. So we shall see whether that's true or not. So I'll just show you now with all the apps there. I don't see any Dash Cam recording native app. So nothing as yet. And I'll just show this one, utility tools. Nothing as yet. Okay, so I'm going to restart the car. Now I've heard that you can also restart the car by holding onto the volume control there. So let's do that right now. Hang on to it for a few seconds. Okay, so screen disappears. Tagline. Start screen. And just FYI, when you restart the Tesla screen, it takes roughly about the same time. And it is an Android tablet, essentially, the BYD system. And that's pretty good, not too bad, quick enough. Ooh, function, self-match successful, reboot for the changes to take effect. I wonder whether that's the Dash Cam app. And I've also got data now as well. What are we now? Day 6 of ownership. Either day 6 or 7, depending whether you start counting from when I took ownership of the car or when I started driving the car the second day. So yeah, about a week, which is about right. I confirmed that with my rep this morning. Okay, screen has restarted again. I did need to let you sit through that one more time with me. Android starting again. Okay, moment of truth. Let's flick through. Looks a bit different. Something else. Here we go, driving recorder. That is definitely new. Let's have a look. Okay, so let's go through the settings to start with. And you've also got instructions for use as well. So there's a lot of notes there. So let's just see if there's anything we need to quickly take note of. Stores the file on the SD card. Does not contain sound elements generated inside and outside the car during recording. So only records the driving video, but also simultaneously superimposes and records the vehicle driving status and driving information. We'll go through that. When the driving recorder is recording, if other third-party software is used to call the recorder camera, the recorder recording will be temporarily interrupted. Doesn't allow third-party access as well. The driving recorder has specified requirements for memory card specifications. Must meet minimum class 10 or above. 8 gigabytes or above, but not more than 128 gigabytes. Okay, well, I'm using a 256 gigabyte card. Seems to be okay. We'll double check that. And there I've card with FAT32 partition format. Okay, can only be used. I've got a micro SD card in there. Under normal conditions, the video of the driving recorder will be recorded cyclically. In order to ensure that important videos are not covered, please export important videos to other devices such as mobile phones or computers in time if necessary. Yep, that's fair enough. Okay, so back we go to the settings, so you can go 1 minute, 2 minute, or 5 minutes. So I'll go 5 minutes. Driving display info and recording, yes please. Delete data, I guess you want to delete all the data, or you can format SD card, partitioning FAT32 formats. Okay, so that's something you could do. Okay, so let's have a look at some real-time image. So there we go, that is the front dash cam working just fine. The thing we just record, that's the hardware we just installed. Great. And if you want to take a snapshot, you can. You can also lock the video, which means I assume it records or stores the last 5 minutes, I guess, onto the drive. There you go, video locked. So let's go to playback list. So we've got a snapshot of my garage I took earlier, then you've got a snapshot I just took of the image in front of us. You can full screen that, and that's what they mean by the driving data. We've got my VIN up there, you've got the time and date, speed I was going at, and then the time and date of the image as well. Let's have a look at driving videos. So you can see it's continuously been recording the time that I've left my home to this location. So let's click on one of the files to see me driving in here. So let's have a look. Okay, so you can see some video of me driving to this location. Again, the VIN is there, time and date. You can see, oh look, you can see the drive gear I was in. 1, 2, 3, I wonder what that is. That's another throttle I'm putting on it maybe. And then the speed I was going out as well. So that's quite useful information for a dash cam. And then you can pause it too. I will take this file out and see what resolution this video and image files are stored at. And then you can see the lock the video, which I think is just lost in translation, but probably means like stored images or videos that you want to keep is stored in this location here, like, you know, important files, and they're there for you to access really quickly if you need to. Right everyone, well that's my installation video of the OEM Dash Cam for the BYD Seal. Again, open to speculation as to why they didn't include this hardware with the car on delivery, but it's not too expensive to buy. And certainly not too difficult to install as well. As I showed you, just follow my step-by-step instructions. And also, pretty handy dash cam. You could fork out a few more $100 for, you know, a third-party product, but it's nice having that integrated with the infotainment screen as well. Now, of course, I've got to make a comparison with Tesla because, you know, Tesla has Sentry Cam, which is that stationary recording with some of its repeater cameras and the front and back cameras, useful obviously for security purposes. And my original Tesla Model S from 2015 doesn't actually have Sentry Cam at all. Obviously it's just a Tesla specific product. All right everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time on Ludicrous Feed. As always, happy charging.